Hi everyone, I'm Srilekha. I'm training to be a couples therapist in Bangalore, and on this channel, we dissect the anatomy of Indian couples. So, if you're currently in the arranged marriage process and you're meeting a bunch of people and hoping to decide if this next person's the one, then here are some very important questions that you should be asking right on the very first date. So, if you're worried that asking these really important questions on the very first meeting might kind of kill the vibe, that's fine because this stuff is actually way more important. So, research suggests that commitment and compatibility are way more important to how long a relationship lasts than chemistry. But all we look for on that first date is, are we getting along? Are the vibes matching? How is the chemistry? Am I attracted to this person? And while that's important, that's not what's going to get you through the long term. So, first question, what does your life path look like? As in, what do you think your life is going to look like for the next many years or so? This is really important to understand on the very first meeting because this gives you an idea of whether are they planning on moving countries, are they planning on quitting and pursuing higher education, like where do they see themselves living. We all have an idea of what we kind of want our life to look like, and when you're deciding who you want to spend that life with, it is of the utmost importance that you communicate this with the other person, because what if they don't want to move countries ever? What if they're not, financially stable enough to support you through higher education? There's so many ifs and buts, and it would be very irresponsible, first of all, not to get to know what the other person has in plan for their life, and also not to communicate what you have in plan for your life. Next up, what are their views on children and how do they see that fitting into your life? So, of course, if you're talking about marriage, the next big thing to talk about is obviously children. And in this day and age, you cannot assume that someone is automatically going to be a hell yeah for having children. So, that's a conversation you actively need to have. Do they want children? How many children do they want? Do either of you expect that someone's going to, quit their job and stay home? Does someone want to quit their job and stay home? How is that gonna look like? Do they want family raising the kids? Are they okay with hiring help for these kids? How involved do they see themselves being? Bringing children into this life is a big thing, and you want to make sure that your values as a future parent align with your life partner's values as a parent. So really take the time to understand that, because that in the future could really make it or break it. Next up, let's talk money. So obviously questions about finance can, be a little less romantic, but they're arguably the most important even for romance. So ask them, what are their financial goals? How do they see themselves achieving those goals? What are their expectations about how you both are going to manage money together? So to get more specific, do they dream of potentially buying a house? What is their financial situation looking like right now to be able to achieve that dream? When do they want to retire? How do they see their income increasing in the next few years? Do they want to join finances? Do you want to join finances? Are they okay with that? How do they see splitting of bills and responsibilities? Do they have other people in their life to support? Do they have any type of debt, that you want to know about right now? Because that could take away a huge chunk of cash for the foreseeable future. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Whatever comes up, ask it. This is the time to do so. Nothing is honestly off limits. Next up, because this is after all India, you have to talk about family. You have to talk about what amount of involvement their family might have in your life, in your marriage, in your kids' life. Do they see themselves, potentially right away or later on living with family? How much do they have to support family? How important is family? How much do they want to be present in their families' lives? How much do they want to prioritize their family? This can be huge things that come up, as you navigate life through another person, another family. So these are stuff you absolutely need to figure out and get an understanding of right now and see if that's something doable or not. Now, here's a big one that people probably almost always forget about, is to ask them, how do they handle conflict? Within a marriage, there's going to be conflict. Trust me. So how do they see themselves handling it? Do they find that they're someone that actually likes to communicate and have been good at communicating, or do they completely shut off? Are they prone to maybe, raising their voice or fighting? Are there some things that they need to work on? Conflict is almost guaranteed in marriage, so this is definitely something you really want to know about and see if there are some really big red flags coming up. And then next, another big one, what are their views on religion or spirituality? Someone that does have religious beliefs, it could be a huge part of their lives and might really influence how they view the entire world. So if either partner, doesn't see religion the same way or has a different religious perspective, a lot of things in life on a day-to-day as well as, big things can get very difficult, but because you're just not able to see what the other person is seeing. So if religion is something, that is important for you, or not being religious something important for you, then this is definitely something you need to understand. There's also varying different levels of being religious or spiritual, so you'd really want to know, like, what is the influence that religion or spirituality has on their life, and really decide if that's something that you can see yourself navigating around. And lastly, this might sound crazy to talk about when you first meet someone for marriage, but it really is important, and that is asking them what are their views on handling really, really rough patches and potentially divorce. Because nobody wants to go through the legal process of getting a divorce, so it's important to really understand what the other person's views are on this matter. What are your partner's non-negotiables? What might be something that makes them come to a point that, okay, this cannot move forward? Are they willing to explore therapy? Are they willing to what extent are they willing to work on it? Is divorce a very viable option for them, or is that something that they would not consider until a long, long time? You need to have these conversations, because no one wants the worst case scenario, but you have to be prepared for the worst case scenario. So there you have it. These are some of the questions that can help you and whoever you decide to spend your life with lay the foundation for hopefully a great and long-lasting marriage, because marriage is so much more than love and romance and all of the good times and going on dates. It's a lot of practical stuff. It's a partnership. It involves a lot of teamwork. So if you don't start off on the right foot and start off with a person that you feel like you can have the best chance at success, then that's a big risk you're taking.